Hello, I'm Reverend Dr. Jeffrey Goodine, pastor of Church of Will Spoken Word out of Orange City, Florida. And this is another edition of Morning Prayer 2022, 6-year journey. You heard the old saying, the devil's trying to take my voice here. If you don't work, you don't eat. And then there's the saying that if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Well, this morning I want to show you in the Bible where it is. And you have to excuse my voice this morning. Where it says in the Bible, Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 12 and 13. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 12 and 13. Now, I don't know whether you love your job or not. I do know that if you love what you do, it don't feel like work. Well, in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 12 and 13, and I'm reading from the NIV this morning. I know that there is nothing better for people than to be happy and to do good while they live, that each of them may eat and drink and find satisfaction in all their toil. This is the gift of God. Now, the King James Version says, I know that there is no good in them, but for a man to rejoice and to do good in his life. And also that every man should eat and drink and enjoy the good of all his labor. It is the gift of God. So, God said you will toil. He said you will work. What did he tell Adam? He said to Adam that the curse is that he will work the ground. He will toil. The sweat of his brow. And the ground will produce nothing but thorns and thistles. And he said, man gonna work. And we know they're saying if you don't work, you don't eat. But we also say that if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Because that you're doing what God got for you to do. You're doing what God planned for you to do. So you never work a day in your life. You're doing the gift of God. Enjoying your labor and your toil. Now, your toil is what we say, our work. That's your toil. So I got some information for you today. Recent surveys indicate unprecedented dissatisfaction with work. As many as 80% of employees at any given time are looking for a new job. Why? Maybe they need more money, or perhaps they don't like the location, their co-workers, or their bosses. For most, however, the discontent isn't a matter of location or benefits. It's a matter of meaning. If we don't find meaning in our jobs, we find motivation difficult. Lack of motivation gets us behind in our work, which leads to stress, which leads to less motivation. It's a vicious cycle. God created work. Somehow we got the impression that it's a result of Adam and Eve's sin. But God had the couple tending the Garden of Eden long before they were tempted and cast out. Work became more difficult, but work had already been ordained. God means for his people to be productive and to enjoy the fruits of their labor. He wants us to be content in what we do, whether it's at home with children or in an office with co-workers or elsewhere. In our deed for today, even when we know God's plan, we often miss out on his ultimate purposes. The surveys that indicate massive job dissatisfaction invariably have Christians among their respondents. Believers can be as dissatisfied as the secular world. How can we be more content in our work? There are two simple steps to meaningful labor. One, Ephesians tells us to work as if you were serving the Lord, not men. That's Ephesians chapter 6, verse 7. If we who love Jesus have it firmly fixed in our minds that our labor somehow honors him, we will be more interested in our labor. Two, we can pray. It is acceptable to pray for a new job or role, but it's even better to ask God to build meaning into your current work until his timing for something new is right. He can show you how your work relationships honor him and how your godly service reflects his character. That sort of satisfaction is a gift God longs to give. God wants us to work, but he wants us to work, and our work honors him. When others see us work, they see us not working for man, but working for God. So if you are dissatisfied with what you're doing, as they said, 80% of the people are looking for a new job. At any given time, 80% of the people are looking for a new job. And some of the people are Christians, want to be Christians, or somebody said they should be a Christian. 80%. They're saying that they don't find any meaning in their job. Well, people say find another job. God say ask him for meaning. Don't hate your job, as some people do, but ask God for meaning in your job, to put meaning in your job. And that's a whole nother focus. Because if there's meaning in your job, then you'll be happy. You'll never work a day in your life. But if you're working for money, as they say, you will always be chasing a dollar. But if you put meaning in your life, the money will come to you. The money will come to you. So God instituted work. So something that you're doing to provide for you, if you're not happy, it's not finding another location or finding another job. It is asking God to put meaning in your present job. And when you do that, when you ask God to put meaning in your present job, you'll never work another day in your life, because you're working for God and not man. You're working for God and not man. Well, I'm Reverend Dr. Jeffrey Goodine, pastor of Church on Wheels Spoken Word out of Orange City, Florida. And this has been another edition of Morning Prayer 2022, 6-year journey. May God have mercy on our souls.